And this is, of course,
I'm
the
in
short
200
track
laps,
behavioral
gonna break
element
at
to
halfway,
have these drivers
another break
race.
at
We heard
lap
Carson Kvapil talk
175.
about his battle with
Take care of your
Miles
stuff all
as something
night.
where he felt like he was
Take
being
care of your
used up a
brakes.
little bit, so he
Be in a
had to
position
get
to
back in the
execute at the
qualifying
end.
race.
Good
We're
luck,
going to
have
take
fun.
that ideology and crank it up
Thank you,
tenfold
guys.
with the race
Work
on the
extra hard
line as
today.
it will be.
Got a pretty good car.
On the front row. Peyton
see what you
Sellers
do.
and Connor Hall battling for the Virginia Triple Crown Championship in row number 2. It's based off of the
lights out
average
here.
finish
You want to
across
go
the
blind
3
green next
races.
time?
Hall has the nod coming into Martinsville. Sellers wants it back. Stuart Cruz has been a pleasant surprise all afternoon long, as has
inside your row to 4, row behind, 26 Sellers, down low, Hall in your mirror.
Twice. Rest of the top 10s, he's straight
Initial start to be on the flag. You can beat the leader to the line. You can. I did confirm you can beat him to the line.
Racing and have it pay off in the biggest way.
Lights are back on, not going here.
Of his racing season by a long
Working
shot.
on mine, about back.
There's an adjustment
All
that
right,
would
lights
put
back out
him
here. You want to go
to the
green next
tail end
time.
of the field to make sure he's ready for the rest of this race. But as you mentioned, Eric, so many races this time of year build up for these late model stock car drivers, and even more still to come, but none as big as what many drivers down in the pit area and the crew members, the spotters, everybody in this industry will call
one last time, start to be on the flag here. Just stay bumper to bumper. No weaving when the pace car drops off here.
300 set to get underway with Kyle Dudley and Carson Kvapil to lead them to the green flag.
All the hard work, dedication, preparation is going to be put to the test in the biggest way. 200 laps from the Martinsville Speedway, the 2024 ValleyStar Credit Union 300, with Kyle Dudley bringing us down to the start. Green flag is in the air. 200 laps to a grandfather clock. Here we go.
Just you and him, no gap.
Everybody clean through turns 1 and 2. The battle for the lead continues in
Still
3
even.
with Carson Kvapil and Dudley battling for the top spot. As Kyle Dudley's going to maintain the streak of having the perfect day so far. He leads lap 1 with Sellers looking at for second one.
And again, $25 given out to the Dalton's Racing Products lap leader for each lap that the respective driver will lead tonight. ValleyStar Credit Union 300. Kyle Dudley able to escape by a couple of car lengths. Is now Peyton Sellers looking to challenge for the second spot as he goes side by side with Carson Kvapil. He's a
22 half off of him.
driver. He's trying to chase in the Virginia Triple Crown standings, and Connor Hall, who sits by in fourth. And then you got a side-by-side battle going on for the 5th spot as well. Buddy Isles Jr.
Still two back lane, inside quarter 22.
With Stuart Cruz, who we've mentioned has been so strong all throughout the runnings this entire weekend. Looks like he may have claim in the 5th spot for now.
Cruz in that
behind the 22 if you want.
multi-time winner at South Boston Speedway has caught the attention of just about everybody. Everyone across social media is wondering what is more to the story of that 29 car.
Behind him if you
We've
want
not
it.
seen a lot about him on a national scale. This is his first attempt
Half
at
of the
the
29 line.
Union 300, and he's running great in the top 5 with Mike Looney and Buddy Isles door-to-door, 87
Total 1 on exit.
respectively
Settle
behind
in.
him.
And right now, Buddy Isles Jr., we talked about early in the day how that middle to second lane was viable, and it was a lane
Next 5, tight nose and tail here.
Certain cars can make it work. Right now, it is not working for Buddy Isles Jr. Almost wasn't working that time for the number 12 of Jake Crum, Jared Fryer, at least early in the go, and thinking about going 3 wide at this early
by 1.5
race.
99 chasing at 85, flat out back.
The top 10 is Connor Jones. Again, somebody kind of like Tristan McKee that we were talking about that really had a good long run.
Total 4 now.
Fired back in the field. But we'll see what that number 44 car can do right now, as Peyton Sellers has managed to pull about a car length gap over Connor Hall.
Just as we were singing the praises,
Two to the 87 now.
Kicked up to the high side, loses a spot to former winner of this event, and Mike Looney. He's going to drop back a position. One of the late entrants in that of the 77, north of the border, Trayton Lapson.
Next 7 all singled out, 2 apart.
Car working his way up towards the top 10, and then 03 of Lee Pulliam vying for his 3rd Martinsville
Half in the center.
late model stock car, holding steady in the top 10 as well.
Single filed out, at least for the top several positions. Again, this is why qualifying, why those heat races are so important, because being able to get out here, and yes, you're racing hard, but you're really able to size each other up, see what kind of car both you and the rest of the field that you single file out here. Give it about 25, 30 laps or so and see if you're really dialed in at this point. It's That's why it's so beneficial to be up here for track position. You think
Go by
about
half a line.
races like you would see at a Florence Motor Speedway, where even saving tire, we know how crucial that can be, but still, you start at such...
By half to the 87, little diamond center.
You can see the fast cars are proving that right now as Peyton Sellers, again, somewhat losing touch with Kyle Dudley, who has just been unbelievably fast
Headlight lower.
this entire day.
Here's a battle for position starting to materialize. That's Mike Looney, the 87, inside of outside front row starter, Carson Kvapil, who tried to shut the door, nearly came
by one and by
Looney into turn one, with Kvapil not only protecting the spot, but growing the advantage by about a car length off turn two.
And again, you have to mention for Kvapil, think about what he said after winning his heat race a little bit earlier, that with some of the skirmishes that he had with Buddy Isles Jr., there was a little bit of damage. He said he was turning 90 degrees to the right.
87 stays half lane high on entry, rolls 2 in the center, still good by half.
So you have to wonder how much of that were they able to remedy, and is that going to come into play as we go through these runs a little bit longer? Again, that damage
Hey, with you, headlight lower.
late in that heat race, so how's
by
he
half
going
and
to be
by
able to
2.
hold up for 200 laps? Right now, it looks like Mike Looney has a very, very strong race car, at least on the short run through the opening 12 circuits.
Tight see on exit.
Point blank. There's a lot of cars
out of line, still clear.
From the qualifying races earlier, we'll have to keep our eyes on several of those contenders as Looney looks to the inside. It was 2016 that Mike Looney went to victory lane here. Struggled
Still peaking headlight lower, good by half.
Some misfortune, but if you look back the last 3 seasons, 4th in 2022, runner-up in 2021. The driver out of Catawba
by half and by 1
to his second win at this race. We'll see if he can grab it here tonight as he continues to hound Kvapil for 4th.
And Stuart Cruz, we keep talking about how strong he's been. He's gotten up into that battle as well. As we take a look back at where the progress sits for Trevor Ward, remember, got a black flag on lap 1 to start his heat race.
By half and by 3.
According to race officials on the outside lane, he parked it on track, was penalized for 2 laps, ended up
22's down the cylinder.
Transferred in, and already very early on in this race, Eric, we've seen it pretty much throughout the running that he has a very strong race car. He started back in the 27th position. He's already up to 22nd.
By half and by 2.
He's right in the heart of the pack, right where all of this traffic is.
I think the 22 is going to want you to go top here.
7 car that with all these 2 wide battles happening in front of him, all the dirty air that's back there, yes, there is a little bit of dirty air.
You see him laying over.
Late model stocks. He's able to kind of carve through traffic.
Is Ronnie Bassett Jr.
By half to the 87.
Cars toward the throwback race at Hickory. Carter Langley, 2023
Shoe in the 22.
champion.
Still quarter.
We flash up forward up to
Still
the
quarter.
for 3rd. Connor Hall has fallen back into the clutches of Carson
Still there.
Kvapil and company. Not
Clear.
sure if this is by design or if Hall may have a problem as he is gingerly working his way down the front stretch. Allows Kvapil to get past on the top side, and Mike Looney's going to try
By 3 to 2 wide.
to turn 2.
I don't know if that was one of the cars I heard going by our broadcast booth up here. It did not
Singled out now.
all that
3 to 87.
As we get another listen by here. Yeah, there's something not right with that number 22 car.
That car is definitely
02 chasing at 22.
and it's showing midway down the front and back stretch. And here comes Stuart Cruz. This is your Virginia Triple Crown points leader. And the driver who is looking for maybe the only thing that he hasn't done yet this season, and that is win that crown and this race. And he may have a pretty serious mechanical problem in his Nelson Motorsports number 22.
And again, you can see
06 chasing a 14. 03 out back by 4.
The straightaway, he is laboring right now. And again, that is a problem that there are many racetracks in which he's competed, probably at his home track of Langley.
By 4 and by 6.
You can get away with that, but with these long straightaways here for these late model stocks at Martinsville, that is just not the case, as he'll lose another spot to Daniel Silvestri.
05 chasing a 14.
Right now, again, he needed just a 5th place to be able to lock up the Virginia Late Model Triple Crown, and it looks like for now, Connor Hall wheeling, and it may be a long night for the Autos by Nelson Napa number 22.
And the bad news for that of Hall, even as he tries to offset some of the pace he's losing on the straightaway, should this race stay green, we're going to
07 chasing a 13.
for another 79 laps for the stage break. So Hall is looking for some help, if you will, to get that car to the attention of his crew if needed, as he continues those spots.
Brakes already, Carson.
Spot by spot, he continues to fall. He'll lose another one to Cade Brown, who goes on by.
06 chasing a 10. 24 out back.
On. Also, Carson Kvapil, who was running up in about the 4th or 5th position or so. Looks like he's maintaining right there for now. But Connor Hall still running in the top 10 as things stand. You can see Buddy Isles Jr., who's fallen back into the 9th position, who's going to try his best to try and chase down that number 22.
18 chasing a 14.
Indeed, here on the straightaways, laboring a little bit as you see the lead that was once a little bit larger than what we had a couple of laps ago for Kyle Dudley. Peyton Sellers starting to slowly but methodically reel him in, and with the pace that he's catching that number 4 car, they may just get to the back end of this field where lap traffic may become a factor.
20 chasing a 22, 24 out back.
Point out
So
something
by
that
5.
was reported by Matt Weaver, longtime short track motorsports journalist, monitoring the number 22 radio. They believe it might be an
Coming
electrical
to lap
issue.
25 here, 25 on tires.
Until we get a caution, we'll get a chance to work on it. Hall is trying to do everything he can, and he's kind of stopped the bleeding right now between that of Brown and Buddy Isles.
The Ford leaders parking at center, get into turn.
Race lead on the backstretch.
Sellers looking low, showing that he is there. You're going to start to see some of the brake rotors glowing on some of these late model stocks, but Peyton Sellers now with a nose to the inside of Kyle Dudley. Carson Kvapil has also made up some ground, and he's nearly a car length behind these two. But right now, side by side,
20,
turn number
41
2,
out front.
Kyle Dudley has led the opening 26 laps of the 2024 ValleyStar Credit Union 300, and Peyton Sellers looks as
No
if
pressure, whatever you need to work the 4 here.
Second leader in the ValleyStar Credit Union 300. It is the 26 of Peyton Sellers.
That's the first time all day since qualifying that 4 car has not been P1 when he is on the racetrack. What could he do to respond? Is now Carson Kvapil looks low in turn 3, dives it up the inside, perhaps going to
him on your tight door.
Kvapil, who throttles his way
Show
in the
door quarter.
middle of the corner. Dudley back to
The quarter clear in line.
This Mike Looney is lurking in that 87 car.
He missed the corner out back, good by 1.
Right there as they went down into turn number 1.
Total 1.5.
Kind of moved down the straightaway to try to protect over Mike Looney, who is starting to catch these front few. You can also see Stuart Cruz.
All right, nice and smooth here. Leader in front of you. Just going to catch lap
Doing
traffic.
the same, but Dudley right now starting to fade a little bit. Here comes Mike Looney. The bleeding is not over for the number 40 or number 4 car as Looney off at turn number 2 will look to try and snatch away that 3rd position. But we also have a battle brewing for the race.
Quarter clear in line.
It's not going to take very long.
Go to left here.
3rd new race leader, and just
Go by
about
half.
as many laps as he'll take over the top spot at Martinsville.
30 laps in the books.
Lap 33-0.
Looney's
Straight from break now, folks. Straight from break.
caught the tail end of the lead lap, so running through some of the back markers currently as things stand could also play a factor in who maintains control
By one of the
this
26.
race. For Carson Kvapil, this is his 3rd go with the ValleyStar Credit Union 300. He was a runner-up in his debut in 2022, 3rd here last year.
26, 44 out back.
To win this race with Josh Berry a handful of years ago. Kvapil certainly wants to try to nab himself a grandfather clock as
Be
well.
smart with these lappers. Time up, set them up. Take every break here. By 4.
Pressuring him to the tail end of the field.
And again, there are some very good cars that are up the road in front of him. Andrew Grady was really strong in his heat. How about Landon Pimbleton, the Lee Pulliam Performance Machine, struggling right now and looks to go a lap down. In fact, Grady will just give Carson Kvapil the inside lane.
Quarter clear.
But this is certainly going to be a factor here at Martinsville, and you can really see a visual difference there between these cars and how they're driving off the corner. Right now, Pimbleton just doesn't have the grip to be able to hold against the throttle, but you can see the difference as Kvapil is able to easily go on by and being very courteous.
Got a lap buffer to the 26 here.
Down.
Nice and smooth, takes every break.
Hamilton, who just barely got into the show by finishing 10th in his respective heat race, will pull over for what's typically a Sellers Racing teammate of his when he's driving his familiar 0 car that won him the championship at Dominion.
By 6 to the 26 for position.
To get by, he will offer a similar courtesy to Mike Looney in the 87 as Kvapil continues to set sail on the back straightaway in the 3.
Coming to lap 35 or 3-5.
And this is why you need a really versatile car at this race, is the fact that lap traffic can certainly play in. And again, these cars, Pimbleton, Grady, have
42, 64 out back. No reason here. By 7. Take care of it.
Continue to race, but they've done so by giving them the top lane. It's why you have to be able to go to the middle, to the top side, have confidence in your car, and be able to run out there very well. As you can see, Peyton Sellers, not even really a challenge there for Mike Looney, but starting to drift up the racetrack just a little bit in terms of where they're chasing the speed. You can see Kvapil running very high, almost about half a car width or so out of that asphalt and concrete patch here in Martinsville, as here comes Mike Looney looking to challenge for 2nd.
A pair of previous winners, the ValleyStar Credit Union
87,
300,
too wide with the 26 out back.
Place.
Clear.
Looney on the inside of the 87, and Sellers is going to yield to give Looney the spot before they get to turn 1.
Singled out to 87 now, P2.
Who grabbed the last spot in the field in the final qualifying race, who's the only car between this duo and Kvapil, the leader.
Next group of 7, all 2 apart here.
And again, it's not going to get any easier. Every single lap car that you pass, it's going to start to get harder and harder. As you can see, Ryan Matthews giving way to both cars, and Mike Looney and Peyton Sellers who are rolling along. As far as an update on what Connor Hall was dealing with, we talked about the fact that he was fading for a little while there. He's kind
too
of
wide in front of you here.
Quarter right now.
Still quarter.
See him kind of going into turn number 3
Still
in just a moment, but he kind of fell back all at once and has been relatively calm, maintained right now.
88 should give you the bottom here.
The 22 car, it seems to be working itself out, or at least it's manageable enough. He has a fast enough car that he can continue to run out here, at least for the time being.
So they're even.
Lapped up to Clay Jones, now to the inside.
Top's going to stack here.
Lap leader here in this race a year ago. The 18 of a former winner in the field, and that of Jason York next to go a lap down.
That's 2 back in your mirror for position, the 87.
A little bit of a nudge there.
Still out there, lapper.
Looney is closing. Kvapil wants to cut through this field as quickly as he can to maintain the lead because Mike Looney is on a charge.
Still out there, quarter.
And you can see, again, just a little bit of a
Still there.
crinkle in the
One back
nose
in
of
your
that
mirror for position.
Chevrolet, as Mike Looney will be able to find his way by Doug Barnes as well as Jason.
87's clear by half.
But Looney is there, no doubt about
Half lane low on exit.
Chase down Carson Kvapil, your race leader. It's Dylan Harville, who's just up the road, who would be the next car to perhaps go a lap down. But Mike Looney not going to try to wait any longer.
87 trying to cross.
Fourth, different leader.
Headlight lower, inside quarter.
300.
And he's got the fender inside.
Still there,
Mike Looney
by 5 behind him here.
Third in points at South Boston Speedway in
Try to pin him
2024,
here.
finishing second
there,
multiple
door.
times, but not able to reach victory lane. 6 times he was the runner-up at his home track. Maybe he's saving the best for last
87
year.
jumped up with you, Lapper's bottom.
Was able to
Still
use
there,
Harville
even.
as a pick to protect the lead.
Yeah, this
Door,
is gonna be
quarter,
tough. Again,
quarter
Harville
clear.
being courteous, giving them plenty of room, but is saying if you are going to go around me, I'm going to make you do it on
Half
the
in line,
outside.
87.
At least we get a quick yellow to
Total
ensure
1.
that I get the lucky dog. Parker Eatman is next on the docket for Kvapil to get by. This is where I think early portion of this race, you have 2 very smart
out there, Lapper.
race car drivers in Carson Kvapil and Mike Looney. I think they're going to be
Still door, quarter. Quarter, clear.
But I don't foresee
87 is with you, 1 back on the bottom.
or a bad calculation
Now 2.
with 156 laps to go.
It's Dexter Knight Jr. next up in the 5 car out the windshield of that of Carson Kvapil. Peyton Sellers is second
Back
on
to
the
1.
battle between the 8 and the 87 for the race lead, with Stewart and
Still out there.
very
Quarter, clear.
Kane Brown, your top 5. Connor Hall has slid down to 8th.
Working lap 45 here.
Say trackside.
Your brakes look any better, Brian.
Reports that they do.
Yeah, they're all right now. Clark's like going back down a little bit.
I'm not sure it's going to make it, but right now he's holding his
By
own.
3 to 87, singled out.
He is in the 8th position. Then you have Lee Polium right now, kind of riding around in the 9th spot. Matt Waltz will complete your top 10. And Trayton Lapsevich has fallen back to the 11th position. Ryan Millington
Quarter 4,
up to
20,
12th.
54 out back.
The pace in the middle of turns 3 and 4. I don't think he's going to be able to get all the way back around.
Yellow, low bottom.
Promising
Low bottom.
night it started out to be for Buddy Isles Jr., who will draw the first caution flag of the night here at Martinsville.
Tonight,
He'll come back
Jason
1 and
York
2.
one of them, but unfortunately he is scored in 39th. Depending on what happens to Buddy Isles Jr., he may stay there or fall down to the 40th spot in the final running order.
Tough break for Jason York. I know Jamie York earlier had an issue that they had been battling all afternoon in that car and went out in heat race number 1 and unfortunately was not able to remedy it before that heat started. So a tough day for the York family, who I know had very high hopes coming into Martinsville today.
Choosing right here. Make it obvious. Don't hit your box.
Coming to the 1 to go and choose this time as our chief starter Brandon Willard offers up the indication to the field, and Mike Looney
87
wants a
to
shot
top,
at Carson
26 in your mirror.
Kvapil. He's going to elect the outside. As a matter of fact, all the way up till we get to Connor Hall, pretty much everyone assumed the positions that they would if they were to double up old school style. Hall's the only one who decided to duck out of line of what would have been the outside of row 4 for a safe spot to the inside lane as the 5th car, with Lee Polium taking advantage of the void. It is Kvapil, Looney, then Sellers, your front 3 off the choose.
Pace car is going to drag here.
Lights are out, but
Trying to get everybody choose.
on again. Having 40 cars
Be
choose.
47 to go in your stage when you get in.
We are still in the middle of choosing for about the back half of the field right now. You can see the pace cars slowing. They're going to try to do it, but I don't know.
You've heard of the term counting cards. I bet you all the spotters are counting cars right now to try to figure out what may be the most open lane.
All right, go into the green. Clean it up good, so I'll be on you here.
Field is kind of stacking up a little bit on the back straightaway. Carson Kvapil is going to bring us back down for the green flag. Will be 47 laps from the halfway break. It is Kvapil and Looney on the front row for the restart.
All right, they're already racing in the back of the
by 1 year lane, so outside door. Got 3 behind you, still outside quarter, clear.
Mercer tried to make the move, and now he's
in line by
stuck in
half.
3 wide with Pulliam losing spots off of 2.
He'll lose a couple. Millington also got shoved out of the groove. How about Connor Hall making
Still
the
half
move
in the
down
center.
to the inside? He's able to make
Quarter
his way
one.
by. His crew's shoved up and into the marbles. He has a problem, and he will stop at the top end of turn number 4. One of the great stories of the ValleyStar
By 1 and by 3.
300 this year. He continues rolling down the front straightaway. No caution yet.
Race is going to stay green. Kvapil the clear leader. It is Cade Brown up in the 3rd spot, ahead of Sellers, who lost a couple of positions. Daniel Silvestri to 5th.
Great moves on these restarts, and we know
By 1 and by
where
5,
they are. Cade
90,
Brown able to
same out
take
back.
advantage of what was going on in front of him. He'll go low to defend there from Looney. As you can see, all the battling. This is kind of where everything got jumbled up, right? Lee Pulliam got shoved up wide. So did Ryan Millington. Brent Cruz and Bobby McCarty were looking 3 wide a couple of laps ago. Well behind your race leader.
Tight in the center.
A significant
Headlight lower.
amount of time trying to sort
Inside
that
quarter.
out, but we have another battle for the race
You're
lead.
showing him by
Carson
10.
Kvapil trying to fend off Mike Looney down into turn number 3.
Looney says
So
there's
they're
no
quarter on
lap
you tight.
traffic we can use as a pick here. It is
Quarter, clear,
mono
clear.
a mono for the race lead. That time, Kvapil was able to prevail off 4. Looney's going to fall back in line and try to regroup.
Headlight lower.
Cade Brown trying to close from 3rd. Another good drive off 2 from Mike Looney.
As you mentioned, no lap traffic up the road. The last couple of laps, though,
Tight in the center.
Peyton Sellers starting to reel back in. Your top
Out of
2
line.
as they
Inside
duke it
quarter.
out on
You
the
and him
front
by 10.
stretch here for the top spot at Martinsville. Lap 58, Mike Looney still looking to try and take away the race lead from Carson Kvapil.
So that door, you're pulling him.
Driver looking for his first ValleyStar Credit Union
Still
300.
quarter.
And the other, the 2016 winner of this race, looking to try and get another win in his 5th try.
Still quarter.
And so far, Carson Kvapil has been able to make that outside lane roll on corner exit, not allowing Looney to get enough of a drive to be able to maintain position.
You got momentum.
And the battle continues off of turn number 2 and
Still
down the
quarter.
backstretch.
One car was slow, got really high into turn 4. It was Andrew Grady, but he collected
Still at
that
quarter.
win. The way these cars
Barely.
lay down rubber here,
Clear,
you get
clear.
a little bit outside of that concrete pad.
Diving back
You are
in inside
for
quarter.
a ride. Stork Cruz found that out as well, but still they go side by
So
side.
you and him by 7.
Right now, just
Still quarter.
and we see this pretty much on a weekly basis. Watching this number 8 car in the touring series, their drive through the center of the corner and off, it is tough
Still at quarter.
because man, they just have such great drive off
Clear.
everywhere they go.
A lot of
Back
respect
inside,
shown
quarter.
towards these 2 right now. We expect it to get a little bit tighter as the laps continue to unwind. 39 laps away.
If we got
from the
momentum,
break.
so they're quarter.
Of the first stage with Looney continuing to ride the left rear quarter panel of Carson Kvapil for the lead. Now up to the door, now nearly into the door of the 8 car.
Still there.
With Kvapil
Still there.
again getting a great launch off of 4 to protect the top spot.
And again, you've seen these drivers have learned. You think about aero not mattering much, but you can see.
So you and him at my 5.
As they go down the straightaway, going to try to get up close to that left rear quarter panel. Kvapil, you
Still
can
there.
see there's just a little bit, just enough a side draft to try and keep it close. But again, that's why, especially
Still there, quarter.
when you have a great driving car like Kvapil does right now, it can be really tough to pass. But again, that's a little bit of a tool that Mike Looney has to try and pull back Carson
You got
Kvapil in
momentum.
this side-by-side battle that has not stopped. And oh, by the
Still
way,
there, quarter.
just for a moment in the edge of your frame, Cade Brown is catching them.
Give some props to that of Mike Looney for being able to not get
Still
frustrated
there, door.
by how long it's taking to possibly make this move on Carson Kvapil and not overdriving it on the end of each side of the racetrack.
Still there, door, quarter.
Sending them both
Clear,
towards
clear,
speed.
clear.
Right now, it's been a lot of respect shown between these 2, and Kvapil, that may have been the first time he was all the way clear of Looney.
Still by
going into
half out of
3.
line. back in
Try
line.
it again, but you're right, Blake. Here comes that Matt Piercy Racing 23 of Cade Brown. This may be a 3-car fight for the lead in just a few laps.
By half and by 3.
3-car fight for the lead, and I know
I see you now.
back a little bit about probably 10 car lengths or so back from Cade Brown is Peyton Sellers, and I don't know why. Even the fact that he's not
Still half headlight lower.
right now, there's just something about
out of line, inside quarter.
There, what we've seen from him tonight. I think it's
still
a
there.
matter of time before he joins this fight as well. As Mike Looney trying desperately to
At your
find
door.
a weakness to get around that number 8 car, but just too strong right now to clear him on corner exit. Meanwhile, a couple more cars.
So you and him are by 3 now. Still there, door, quarter.
Able to make up.
Still
That's our
quarter.
picture. That's former winner Jake Crum trying to work over Brent Cruz with Trevor Ward in tow.
He washed up in the center. Still there, even. Still good by 3.
Right side is now Looney is just about as far forward as he's been all race.
Yellow.
For the lead as the caution is out for a spin in turn number 2.
Race monitor had you first last lap.
Number 4 was just about to mention the
Just back it
fact
down here. Let the pace car pick you up. Leave a
Matt
gap.
Waltz, who I think was behind him, with thing is
All right,
over.
coming back 1 and 2
We're
here.
not looking
Clean
back
up
at
good.
what was, only on what can be. And Trevor Ward, man, he's done a fantastic job trying to get up towards the top 10. Has a real opportunity to do it here before we get to this lap 200 break with some of the cleanup coming up here. This might be the lap that we get to choose.
Line about back. 87, 23, 26,
Kind of
17,
have a final gauge of
77.
what direction they would like to go when we do take that break.
So Carson Kvapil continues to lead over that of Mike Looney, and Cade Brown out of Full Shear, Texas, running in 3rd spot. And although Cade's rookie foray
right
to the ZMAX Cars Tour is
Make
not
it obvious,
going
don't hit your box.
plan, he's racked up several DNFs, pretty much just due to bad luck. Sometimes some mechanical gremlins, wrong place, wrong time. But he certainly knows how to win the big races. He's defending track champion at Hickory, defending state champion for the NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series. He won the South Carolina
outside the row, 87,
last
row
season.
behind,
He won the
23
Fall
in the
Brawl.
mirror,
He's won just
26
about
up
every
top.
marquee late model stock event that you could find
It'll be
within
18
a
to
stone's
go when
throw
you get it,
distance
20.
of the Martinsville Speedway. With this only being his 2nd try at the ValleyStar Credit Union 300. As we hit the choose that time through, Brown will elect the bottom of row number 2. It'll be Kvapil, Looney, then Cade Brown and Sellers, with Daniel Silvestri and Trayton Lapsevich making up row number 3. You got a quick glimpse at Trevor Ward, who picked the outside of row number 5. Trevor Ward enters the top 10 for the first time tonight.
I also think worth mentioning some of those cars that have gotten back on the lead lap that were lapped under the course
think
of
I'm
that
good here.
first
Starts on
Dexter
you.
Knight Jr.,
18
Doug
to go when you get it.
Jr., Ryan Matthews. It looks like Andrew
Just maintain
Brady
your pace,
may
and when
also
the pace car
well
pulls off,
actually be the first
on
car
you.
1 lap down. So with these couple of cautions, a couple of opportunities for these drivers to get back on the lead lap, it'll be Grady, Clay Jones, and Dylan Harville fighting for the lucky dog.
Going to be a short sprint to the lap 100 stage break. Here comes Carson Kvapil and Mike Looney bringing us down.
Half off, even.
18 to go before halfway, and Looney's got a tremendous edge. By tremendous, we
Still out
mean
there,
by
even.
a nose to turn 1 to try to maintain pace in this race. If he can get around
Two back
Kvapil
your
as they
lane.
nearly bounce off one another off 2.
It's a little bit of a run down the back straightaway again. He's been having to fend off Kvapil.
Just shooting him
trying
in by
to make
1.
the move by on the bottom, but right now Mike Looney too strong for Kvapil to hold back for the moment. Mike Looney, another new race leader.
Outside quarter, 26. Clear.
300, that middle and top lane working well for both of your top 2 contenders. Peyton Sellers moving up there
Half
as
is 2
well,
wide here.
without a little bit of a challenge from Cade Brown, as you see
Quarter
Connor
1.
Hall, who again, kind of like what we saw earlier, fading and falling on the straightaway. You can see the amount of speed that he's down.
Quarter
Tristan
2.
McKee,
Take
Ryan
every break
Millington,
here.
and Connor Jones,
16
all kind
more.
of anticipating that, trying to get off the bottom to get around the 22 car.
And these repeated restarts have put Hall in a position
Think about
where he
my
is
2 to
just about
23
to
and the
run
next
over
group
all
all
the
half a part.
restarts, and he is out of the top 10 now as the battle
Oh, and he
continues.
gets spun on the front straightaway. Contact with Tristan McKee.
Yellow.
Pushing their way in. Big crash
Back it
for
down here,
Hector,
back it
run
down.
over
Probably
the
gonna
top
stop
of
you in the
another
3.
car.
Front straightaway, big pile up here.
Carter Langley involved.
Make a lane for safety equipment. They're going to shoot out right underneath you here. We're going to go red in the 3.
Spurrier, who was so strong this afternoon. As much as
we are choosing here. They called it late 1 and choose.
And performing
Opposite the 87.
Relationship
Your
with Toyota
choice.
that he does. He still wants to drive. There is a
Make
passion
it obvious.
in him
Don't hit your
that
box.
he wants to continue to prove himself as a driver.
We're
because he
behind.
knows
23
he's
took bottom.
all
26
capable behind
in
the
your rear.
wheel of getting the job done.
You see the work continuing here on the Nelson Motorsports number 22 car. See, they have the air intake off the motor on the front of that machine, sitting on the roof number right now.
See, they're going through everything. They're adding fuel to continue to work on it, but he's continuing to go laps down again. We've been under yellow flag for a little bit, right? Probably overcome a 1 lap deficit, but the fact that he's
11 to go when you get it in your stage. 11 to go.
That is tough because there's going to be.
All right, remember he's control car.
In front of him.
Just stay even
one
to
lap
the
down.
box.
It's going
That'll
to
be on you.
a long time before he could potentially get back to the lead lap. But it looks like they're going to roll him out.
And this is going to be a short sprint.
Think about good. Be ready.
Scheduled halfway break to conclude segment number 1 of the 2024 ValleyStar Credit Union 300 with Mike Looney the leader.
Remember, he's control car.
Inside, even though he took the lead on the outside to get the top spot away from Carson Kvapil. It'll be Kvapil, his pursuer, to driver's right. Back underway with the break coming at halfway.
Oh, well, 1/2 off in line.
Bringing us back to green.
Start to drag. You can get in behind him. Clear, clear.
It's the low side that Looney's going to be able to clear Carson Kvapil off of turn number 2 and into turn number 3.
26 trying to roll top. Half it too wide.
From Peyton Sellers
Outside
around
quarter,
the
clear,
outside.
clear.
He nearly was up and had a nose on the outside of Carson Kvapil, but for now Sellers will have to settle.
Half it too wide.
In fact, he's being challenged for that
Quarter
spot
1.
with Cade.
Singled out to the 23.
Take it off of turn number 2, and he does.
Clarence's Steakhouse, longtime supporter for that of Peyton Sellers. They're offering up to $1,000 these drivers are buying for.
9 more on your stage here, 9.
They could lead at the end of this stage.
By 2
Sellers
and by
to
1.
4th. Lapsevich just behind in the 77. Here's Lee Polium in the 03 alongside 3-time Car Store champion Bobby McCarty.
Singled out,
who
1
said
apart.
candidly he doesn't know what he would do
Quarter
if he
2.
was able to win this race. And oh, by the way, Trevor Ward in the 77 just behind McCarty.
Mason Diaz got shoved out.
8 more on your stage. Think about what your car needs here.
Lose about a dozen spots in collecting back his Hitchcock Racing Enterprises machine. Napoleon trying to roll around the outside, bringing along
By
Ronnie
2 and by 1.
Jr., Brent Cruz, a couple of Cars Tour regulars that are looking to follow a longtime veteran here at Martinsville. He jumps up at the outside of Bobby McCarty and looks to try and pull.
You guys are turning fast and lap for the race here.
Crum, if he can clear off the corner. Trevor Ward looking for just a moment to try to make it 3 wide.
Trevor Ward
84 chasing a 78, 90 out back by 2.
2 for 1 on some of the most illustrious resumes you may find in the field with the 2 cars ahead of him with McCarty and Polium, 6 and 03 respectively, still running side by side for 8th.
And only a couple of laps until this break. Everybody jockeying for position.
87 chasing an 82, 89 out back by 3.
The opportunity for some drivers to jump to the outside. Millington did just that. Kind of getting stacked up just behind where these two are battling.
5 more to your stage.
As McCarty, Polium, you can see they can lean on each other mere inches apart from one another. How difficult it can be to challenge as Ward just giving a little bit of a fake there.
88 chasing an 86, 97 out back by 5.
Turn number 1.
Further up the road, here's Silvestri in the 17A trying to fend off former winner Jake Crum in the 12. With McCarty and Polium still seemingly sewn together at the hip as they continue their side-by-side battle for a position inside the top 10 with now Ward and Brent Cruz looking, and Crum to the inside.
Really dissect what you got here.
He just about ships the 17 off in the corner.
A little bit of contact made to try and make the move by, but Jake Crum driving away from this battle just behind him.
No pressure. 3 more on your stage.
Up to the inside of Daniel Silvestri. But right now, Jake Crum's car perhaps turning better on the bottom than any of these other cars around him. He makes that
89 chasing a 95.
You say, all right, well, I think he got it now. They don't have time to go up and try to catch Trayton Lapsevich, who may have a thought about trying to get around Peyton Sellers before this break comes at the halfway point of the race. And now Polium trying to hold off Trevor Ward just before that were to happen.
Just about a couple laps away from what we
95 chasing a 92.
Trevor Ward to the inside of Lee Polium, 77 and 03. Brent Cruz having a great run so far tonight. His first ValleyStar Credit Union 300 attempt. Cruz in the Mobile 1, number 29.
Hey, 1 more on your stage here. Take care of your brakes.
Up to the top 10 before this race hits halfway. While the race continues on, Buddy Isles Jr. is brought
flat chasing a 95
and slow. It appears as though maybe his night will be ending prematurely. Lapsevich wants one more spot as he's trying to work over Sellers for 4th with
All right, come back halfway here. Just stay in until I call it.
To lead at halfway. You can expect to see the caution at the conclusion of this lap, but Mike Looney is going to grab himself $1,000 as the stage winner by virtue of Clarence's Steakhouse, and Looney looking for his second Martinsville Speedway.
They said at or around 100.
Come off of
Here it is, right here. Yellow.
Yellow is out for the stage break.
Right there, it wasn't bad, just a little free off. Not really a huge change. I'm looking forward to some. Give it a little bit of side light off the corner, coming up through the wall.
So we heard Brendan Queen talk about wanting to do some work on that for not only the race win.
Got a reporter debris in 2.
And that was what was going to hurt him. It's one thing to fall one lap down with the fact that yes, we may see more yellows and get back on the lead lap, but falling 2 laps down,
23 Brown,
another
26
lap
Seller,
behind
77
everybody
Masovich.
that's battling just 1 lap down. I believe after this yellow, it will only be what it looks about, I think 1 car currently scored right now, just 1 lap behind the race leader, Dylan Harville. Perhaps Ryan Matthews may be a part of that group as well. And then number 51, no, he's actually scored on lap 103. So just Dylan Harville that with a quick caution would get back on the lead lap, and then Connor Hall would need 2 more. The problem is, look at what we had at the first part of the race. If we have a very long run,
make it obvious,
there's about 7 or 8 cars that go 1 lap down, that may be an impossible hill to climb. But we'll see.
And also with the caution laps counting at this point, it kind of reduces the amount of green flag racing we could see if we get a rash of yellow fever that eliminates the chance for more yellows to populate enough to get all back on the lead lap.
23 down low,
26 this time.
They did start counting a lap.
Take a moment to talk about the car
to go when you get it
5. That's the number 77B, the black and yellow car of Trayton Lapsevich
looking for
out of Grimsby, Ontario. Trayton is the 2023
stage.
NASCAR Canada Series champion, and he's got a win on the Cars Tour season at North Wilkesboro, albeit it came with some conversation. The team was awarded the trophy, however, not the points that go with it because of a modification that they found on the rear end of the race car. It's something that he and the Chad Bryan team have been doing their best to try to work past. He carries a lot of pride in the fact that he got to ride the elevator at that racetrack. He was a late add to this field. To run this race was that of Lapsevich, and he has been doing a superb job. He decided to take his talents down south of the border here into the States and do something that he really hasn't done all that much before, and that is drive a late model stock car. Lapsevich has been so impressive in just about every start that he has made to mostly racetracks he had never seen in his life. Now here he is up against some of the best to ever do it, and Trayton has gotten himself up into a top 5 and contending spot again at another venue where he doesn't know all that much about. We joked during the week, he's got Evron Bare Knuckle Fighting as the presenting sponsor on that car. How fitting is it that we have a bare knuckle brawl up ahead of us to see who goes home with a grandfather clock?
And I was about to say, as we work towards the second half of this race, we've seen a lot of hard racing at the front of the field, but I think we're going to see more of a bare knuckle fight. Those kind of give and take moments that you have at the beginning of the race, those are going to start to run few and far between. At least that's what we expect, Eric. And this is a night where sometimes the unexpected just sneaks up on you. We just spent an entire caution period talking about cans of air, mustard, and pickle juice. So who the heck knows what is up next here at Martinsville tonight?
Ironic Lapsevich starting beside a former winner here. A driver's got Orca Menard's experience, Truck's experience here. A plethora of racing resumes that outline who could win this race. All right, segment number 1 is in the books. Mike Looney in the 87, Carson Kvapil in the 8, Cade Brown the 23, Peyton Sellers the 26, your front 4. Back underway in the ValleyStar Credit Union 300 for Martinsville.
So even.
So you and him restart before the break. Looney able to make that bottom side work, but for how long? Look at Carson Kvapil.
So you and him gap behind him if you want.
They just about come together all 4. Kvapil keeping the fender there as Looney leads to the line. Now Kvapil falls back behind him.
A lot of close racing throughout the field.
1 to 2 wide.
Silvestri almost looked to make it 3 wide. Looking inside that number 77 of Trayton Lapsevich, but they go single file back there off to the corner. This was a battle that was taking place a number of laps before that stage 1 break between the 23 of Cade Brown and Sellers. Jake Crum looks to at least be hot off the collar in terms of getting that car some good short road speed. Almost in the back of Cade Brown. We talked about how well that number 12 car looked on the bottom prior to the break. Looks just as strong, if not stronger, through these opening couple laps now.
Keep the brakes. Cars coming out from underneath Sellers' cars. We just kick off for a few laps from the restart. Possibly some low air pressures there on that Sellers Racing.
76, chasing a 61. That's his fastest lap.
The top side, trying to protect the spot from Lapsevich, who defends down low to keep Silvestri behind him.
Still good by 5.
Sorting it out
all
right
singled
now
out,
towards the
one
front
apart.
of the field. You can see single file through your top 10 or so. It's some double wide going on further behind them. This is Ryan Millington, the
79, chasing a 59. He's still running his fastest. Just keep taking care of it.
3, that is Ronnie Bassett Jr. and Lee Pulliam, respectively, taking a big swing at this race car. Brendan Queen said they were going to try to stay positive, but right now, not going in the positive direction after this restart is that of Lee Pulliam. In fact, he kind of maintains exactly
70, chasing a 71, 85 out back. Still good by 7.
See Tristan McKee now to the inside of Pulliam in the 7 car with Jared Fryer, 2020 Cars Tour champion, behind him in the 14 and one of his select starts in 2024. One of the youngest drivers in the field alongside a 2-time
79, same out front,
winner,
84 out back.
Lee Pulliam.
Could hardly be more of a contrast in terms of experience in these two drivers. Again, Tristan McKee celebrated his 14th birthday with a Pro Late Model win at North Wilkesboro Speedway earlier this season. And of course, Lee Pulliam, who
73, chasing a 89.
And has been doing
Good by
this
10.
for longer than Tristan McKee's been alive. So you talk about a contrast in experience there. It doesn't get about any wider than that.
Trevor Ward's charge to the front may have stalled out just a little bit as Brent Cruz gets the nose to the inside. Is the door going to remain open long enough for Bobby McCarty to sneak up there? Ward wants to fight back on the top
81,
side.
chasing an 89. Keep taking care of it.
See the drive off there for Trevor Ward as he slides down, able to get down in front of Bobby McCarty, who currently holds solid there in 10th, running a little bit lower right on the curbing, which again, that's a difficult thing to do here at Martinsville with the fact
83,
that
same out
some
front.
of these drivers, yes, you have a little bit of the red and white kind of painting on that curbing, but it can still be somewhat difficult to see when especially we get into these nighttime hours. You can see a lot of rubber kind of building up on that curbing, so being able to get right alongside it a little bit more difficult than it used to be when it was kind of bright yellow and
87, chasing an 85, 90 out back.
Easier to try and differentiate.
See Trey Lapsevich in the black and yellow, number 77, being hounded by Daniel Silvestri. Silvestri, a former Cars Tour winner at Dominion Raceway, multi-time winner and champion across legend car ranks, has been quite honest about the fact that some of the support and funding to do more
84, chasing a 93.
just hasn't quite been there, despite him proving his talent and ability several times over. Silvestri, with the help of Tom Usry Racing and RNS Race Cars, proving yet again he can get the job done.
Just
2
keep
spots
this one
in the
here.
top 5 is that of Silvestri, as we flash back up further forward to the battle for the lead.
Yeah, looked at the first few laps after this restart, and Mike
86, chasing a
picked
90.
up what I thought was a comfortable lead, about 6 or 7 car lengths, and very quickly, in just a couple of laps, here comes Carson Kvapil, who has very quickly made up a lot of time in a very short amount of time. You can see the gap that they built over Cade Brown in 3rd, Peyton Sellers coming across the stripe right now in 4th.
87, chasing a 91.
Glowing brightly for the number 8 of Carson Kvapil, but not slowing down that race car. As you can see already, just about a mere 10 laps into this run or so, the top 3 or 4 cars are just in a zip code of their own right now, as we see Silvestri and Lapsevich side by side for the 6th position.
Silvestri's history at this racetrack is quite detailed in terms of success. Pole winner here in 2021, best finish of 7th in 2022, has never finished worse than 13th, which he did here last year, running in the top 5, trying to get 6th, while Carson Kvapil continues to hound Mike Looney for the top spot.
You can see the difference right now that Kvapil's
04, chasing an 02, running 08 out back.
You'll see it, especially if he kind of runs the same line as he has in here in 3 and 4, just a little bit higher, but trying to kind of cut that car down a little bit earlier, and I apex the corner just a little bit before Mike Looney gets the drive off. But again, having that clean air, very important there for Mike Looney. We saw how well that 87
Whatever you need here, 53 to go in your stage, 5-3.
Can still do so. Meanwhile, right-hand side of your screen, great battle going on. That's been a number of laps. As you can see, just trying to pull him back a little bit with what little side draft that there is that 17 car of Daniel Silvestri, a great-looking number 17 car, I might add. That bull on the side of that car looks mean, it looks fast.
Brent Cruz is a car that's been steadily on the rise in the KHI number 29 after starting back in row number 10. Cruz now up into 8th with a chance to get to
23 and the 26 really takes care of their stuff out back here. Just be smart.
Of your screen.
And again, Brent Cruz just
you raced him really hard, but
and kind of the balance
I'd keep wearing him down, man.
Now, Brent Cruz at just 16 years of age, his ability to hop into so many different types of vehicles, including that of late model stock cars in his first full-time season driving these full-body stock cars,
here, 5-0.
just how impressive he has continued to be. Wrapped up a number of wins in the ZMAX Cars Tour, which is as competitive as ever. And just showing his ability to race cars provided by KHI, he can go out and get the job done, and has done a tremendous job here in his opening season in late model stock cars.
First time we've seen a little bit of paint rubbing there between that of Lapsevich and Silvestri. That was off turn 2. They made a little bit of contact. Both cars no worse for the wear. And hats off to our team for allowing us to watch the battle for the lead and this battle for second. Now McCarty looking inside of Cruz to try to get that 8th spot and see if he can join the fight out the windshield.
Two boxes earning its money tonight as Carson Kvapil, again, you can see he slipped.
Whatever you
when
need
you
here.
mentioned him going high in
23 at the line now, half
two
trailer.
or 3 laps to kind of regroup, get the car back underneath him, and make another charge there at Mike Looney. You can see a little bit of better drive off the corner right now that Carson Kvapil has off of turn 2 as he looks low into 3, but not quite there to make the move. Meanwhile, right-hand side of your screen, McCarty tried for a number of laps to get by Brent Cruz, was not able to do it. Silvestri still fighting strong on the inside, not quite enough for Lapsevich to clear him, but he finally does off of 4. Well, maybe no, but battle for the lead for the top spot in the ValleyStar Credit Union 300. Mike Looney, Carson Kvapil side by side into turn number 3.
And we see that left front brake rotor glowing bright red on Carson Kvapil's car, something we've seen many a times before when this driver would go on to win in a track that is similar in terms of driving
still
style.
half lane up, out the door, quarter.
He's done so several times in the Cars Tour. Now trying to win but Looney fights back on the outside.
And it Looney run very high there into 1 and 2.
Still half lane apart.
So many times this car that's in the middle that is running the top kind of comes down and really forces that car on the bottom to wrap the curving. You'll see it this time. See the amount of room that Mike Looney is giving Carson Kvapil right there. That's a driver that is very confident in his race car.
Turn 4, got a car.
Yellow. Roll bottom here. Roll bottom.
The leaders are side by side arriving on the scene.
Clear.
And Diaz got lucky that he did not get tagged by the cars that were closing in on him. I want to extend a big thank you to a good friend of ours in Justin Mincy, who does a lot of work at Bowman Gray Stadium, collects a lot of stats and information, and he was kind of lending a little bit of help in terms of the calculator. And with the struggles that have Connor Hall and with Peyton Sellers running up towards the front of this field, unofficially, if things were to finish right now, we believe that Peyton Sellers would be the 2024 Virginia Triple Crown champion. So a lot on the line, more than just the race win, with the Virginia Triple Crown holding serve as one of the main storylines for Sellers. This could be his 5th Virginia Triple Crown title. Did so first in 2013, did it again in 2014 to go back-to-back, 2018 and 2022. So this could be his 5th time winning the Virginia Triple Crown for that, of the now 7-time track titleist at South Boston Speedway.
Right, make it obvious. Don't hit your box.
One to go here. Looks like Brandon Willard will give the choose, and Mike Looney
very
quickly. Looks like there's not a lot of thought put into it. He's going to go right to the bottom with Cade Brown, and also going to bring Jake Crum, those first 3 cars on the inside row. It'll be Kvapil, Sellers, and Silvestri, the first few that will elect to jump up to the top lane and try their luck on the outside, of which I don't think it's really trying your luck. We've seen a number of cars, if they can get a good launch and stay side by side into turn number 2, more times than I thought we would see. That outside lane has been very, very strong.
I mean, remember, he's control car.
Pretty much so
go behind.
Together.
23 down low, 26 in your mirror. Only new player in the top 10 is the 12, Jake Crum.
Sellers making up row number 2, and Jake Crum has been racing just about everything, including a Tour Type Modified over the last few months. Now back in something in which he made great success in the late 2000s, along with his win here in 2009. He was a 2008 UARA Stars champion.
40 to go in your stage.
Join the list of drivers who have won this race more than once. The ValleyStar Credit Union 300 here at Martinsville. Getting set for the restart. Next race break, lap 175.
Half off 26.
Leads us back down to green.
No gap.
This time it is that
Room
inside
behind him
lane
here.
that gets quite
Behind him for 2.
Looney may look to have Kvapil clear off of turn number 2. Cade Brown having to do some defensive work behind them to keep Jake Crum
So
at
you
bay.
by
Meanwhile,
2.
here comes
You
Peyton
got 3 under you.
Sellers, who
You got
looks like
momentum.
he'll
Door,
be able to
quarter,
clear Cade
quarter.
Brown.
Clear.
May not have him quite into turn number 1, but he'll have the spot at the stripe.
And on the outside,
By
Carson
1.
Kvapil has made the
By 1
pass
and by
for the
3.
race lead as Sellers and Brown continue their duel for third. Kvapil able to use the outside on the restart to be able to pin Looney
Take care
down
of
to
your
take
brakes
over the
by
top
3.
spot, with Brown now holding third.
A fantastic move there by Carson Kvapil,
By
who
2
was
and by 4.
definitely aided by that break.
67,
and they've
92
done
out
some
back.
great work on getting that 8 car to turn to his liking. Mike Looney to second. Cade Brown, meanwhile, saw a little bit earlier that those top 2 were able to pull away, but we'll see if he can maintain the pace that those top 2 cars have. And the battle still continues between Daniel Silvestri and Trey
84-79 out back by 2.
Side by side, some clean hard racing between those two, and Lapsevich finally able to get the best of that up into 6th, but Jake Crum.
He's back to working that little shape on entry.
One car slow on the back straightaway. It is Ryan Matthews who has gathered it up. We stay green.
As you mentioned several times tonight, Blake, it seems if you get kicked up
82,
out of those first
93 out back.
you know there's no saving it. Just pull the chutes, fall to the rear, gather it back up, and live to fight another day. And that, I think, is what Matthews just did right there. As we got 777s on the screen.
34 to go in your stage. You're 3-4.
Outside that,
by 5.
Trevor Ward. It's the battle for the 10th position right now. And now looking to the inside, the 16 of Florence.
81-98 out back. He's probably taking care of it. Just be disciplined.
Casey Kelly involved in an incident very early on, and just of some of the opening laps of this race was put to the tail
By 5,
end.
he's by
and has
5.
had to
No
claw his
pressure.
way back up to his position right now, 12th, now 11th. As the surge forward for Trevor Ward throughout this race seems to have stalled
92,
either
99
just
out back.
or outside of the top 10. And Sellers up the racetrack. Here comes Jake Crum, who continues to be so impressive here tonight.
Take care of your rears, take care of your brakes.
Easily have that 26 car clear. Move Jake Crum up into the 4th spot here at Martinsville.
Crum did not attempt this race last year.
06-21 out back. He's really back to pace down 3
with 3 top 10 finishes, leading laps in each one of those starts, along with the win back in 2009. McCarty starting to work his way further forward. He's around Silvestri, as now we've got Sellers falling back into the clutches of Trayton Lapsevich for 5th.
And again, it's been a quick fall for Peyton Sellers, who just looked
16-01 out back. Still good by 6.
This latest restart. Very quickly, something going awry on that number 26 car, and Trayton Lapsevich looking to
30 to go in your stage. 3-0.
back up into the
Discipline.
top 5. But Sellers right now reeling in that middle to outside lane.
Sellers now up to the top side.
Top 3 separated by 5 apart.
Now 30 laps
14-08 out back. No gain.
This respective segment, with 25 laps to go, is where we expect the yellow flag to fly to give these teams just one more shot at a 5-minute adjustment to battle it out for the win. Now's McCarty looking low. Left side of your screen, that is McCarty looking to the inside of
06, 10 out back.
You see Connor Hall, who is still trapped a couple of laps down, with Camden Gully and Blake Stallings just in front of him.
I was about to say he can battle all he wants, but unfortunately for him, there's not going to be many positions to gain without some more happening, but he's going to send it 3 wide regardless to the inside at turn number 3. That is Camden.
07-11 out back. Still no gain.
15 car on the right-hand side of your picture. Meanwhile, Bobby McCarty, and this is kind of the point of the race, Eric, where you want to have a car that is very fast. If you got something, you got to use it now to get that track position before we get to that final 25-lap stint. And Bobby McCarty showcasing that to perfection here, was just around or outside the top 10 on this restart. Is now up into 6th. Talk about experience. There's a lot of experience underneath the hood of that number 6 RNS race cars machine. And Bobby McCarty right now, in terms of lap times, looking to start to match what your top 2 are running and gaining the track position necessary to do it as well.
We mentioned earlier, Bobby McCarty said he
18,
didn't know what he would do
19 out back.
in this race. He did
Still top 3, 5 apart.
He said they would burn down the campgrounds and party it up all night long if he was able to get the one race that has eluded him in his incredible late model stock career.
25 audio breaker,
to the top
25.
of the field at maybe just the right time as Cruz is trying to follow through. He's alongside Sellers.
Well, again, 26 years in racing.
21, 19 out back.
Cars Tour champion. Won the Virginia Triple Crown in 2021. I think even he alluded to it. It's kind of the last thing, the last check mark that he has not checked off yet.
Take care of your stuff here.
He hasn't checked has been this ValleyStar Credit Union 300. And again, gaining some track position to try and
14, 23 out back.
Key now trying to take advantage of the veteran and Peyton Sellers. And then here comes Ronnie Bassett Jr. to the inside of Trevor Ward, who continues to fall back. And again, it was after that stage. Before that, was surging forward to the front, but whatever they changed on the 77 car, unfortunately not working to his liking, it would seem, for now.
Two drivers that started well
17,
outside the top
15 out back,
right
no
now.
gain.
Back on the right side of your picture as Sellers continues to lose spots. McKee now through. Casey Kelly lining up on the bottom. Daniel Silvestri in the 17. All starting to leapfrog the driver who appeared to be in prime position to take home the Triple Crown with the struggles that Connor Hall has had all night long. May have to do a little
29,
bit more than
25 out back.
Sellers will maintain that spot depending on how much further down he falls in the running order.
It's a good point to be made. As much as Connor Hall is reeling right now in terms of average finish, again, had a first and second and currently runs in the 30th position. Now Peyton Sellers, average finish of
23, 19 out back. He's staying about 2 feet higher to the 3/8 point on entry.
Of being inside of the top 10, but now may lose that to Daniel Silvestri off of turn number 2.
20 more to your stage, you're 2-0.
Continues to
No
fall.
gain.
Still in a good spot right now, but you just have to wonder if anything gets worse, what can happen with that clearance
19,
steakhouse
27 out back.
They're fired off a warning shot there to Silvestri as now we watch McCarty get up into the top 5 for the first time tonight. Bobby McCarty in the R&S Race Cars number 6 into the top 5 and within striking distance. Again, 20 laps from now will be the end of this segment of this race, and it will be a 25
Being disciplined here, 11:27 out back. Goodbye 10, no reason here.
One of the fastest cars on the racetrack. However, the previous lap, it was Cade Brown in that third position who happened to claim the fastest time of anybody in the field. And as far as Kvapil, he was able to get a little bit of a lead, but they are just trading lap times back and forth between Carson Kvapil and Mike Looney.
32, 21 out back, no gain.
Who is keeping pace right now with Kvapil in a big way. And Cade Brown has also kind of managed to run down your top 2.
Perhaps some solace for many of the drivers who were fortunate enough to make this race. When you look at some of the veteran racers in the field, Lee Pulliam, Bobby McCarty, believe it or not, both of those competitors
14:30 out back, no reason here. Lapper's going to lay bottom.
Race. Despite
Quarter clear.
incredible careers in late model stock cars and being
Keep being disciplined here, save all we can for the 25 restart.
Cars. This is McCarty's 10th attempt at this race. Is tonight the night he nets the big one? He's up into the top 5 and pulling
05:30 out back.
I saw a couple of names that kind
Goodbye
of
15.
popped out at the top of your screen. How about Andrew Grady? We talked about him falling back, fell laps down, is now back on the lead lap, and finds himself
15 more on your stage here, 1-5.
Rebound effort for that number
87
1
line now.
Machine. You could say the same for Aaron Donnelly as he's trying to make up some spots here, getting by
32, 33 out back, that's better.
And coming on strong late in the going. And then a name we haven't talked about a whole lot tonight, Eric. How about Sam Yarborough, that number 95 car? Kind of fell back outside of the top 20, now finds himself back inside of the top 15. So a stark contrast here after this break between cars that just went the wrong direction.
32, 24 out back, he's searching, no gain,
really
still by
made
15.
their race cars much better with that halfway break.
Yarborough, the driver who won the last ever late
Big eyes ahead of you there.
Now defunct Myrtle Beach Speedway. We mentioned the South Carolina 400 coming up. That is one that Yarborough has had circled for several years running.
The 11 will be the first lap where you catch. Think about how you race in the E-race here. Just be smart. No gain. 26-30 out back.
Around Ward, he's up into 14th. Ward 15th. Jared Fryer and Lee Pulliam 16th and 17th respectively.
longer we continue to go in this run, it doesn't appear that Carson
KBM smart here. 55 should give you the bottom.
Catching some of the tail end of lap traffic.
45 is laying over.
Connor Hall wants to
all the way against the wall. Bottom's clear, top covered.
He's now
upper door, quarter. Quarter, clear.
Donnelly goes by.
Nice and small with the 11 here.
Sam Yarborough looking to pounce as well. As you can see, Kvapil starting to get back into lapping some of the
still out there, half lane up.
Had initially worked their way back.
Door, quarter, clear.
Buddy Isles Jr. another lap down, but Landon Pimbleton goes another lap behind the race leader. And that gives Connor Hall the
got a 2-car buffer to the 87 for position. Just nice and smart here, discipline.
It would be Hall as
be
they
10 more on your stage here.
Receive the free pass.
Bottom still covered.
There is a
door, quarter, clear.
But as things stand,
3 buffer to the 87. No reason here. By 2 the lapper.
Crown champion should Sellers remain where he's running and Brown up in the top 3 as Sellers continues to fall. We'll check the
coming 9 more on your stage here. 9 more. Nice
smooth discipline.
Tight,
but Brown is in contention for this Triple Crown victory.
Well, and again, Cade Brown, as far as drivers that were here at the racetrack, you could say he
still out
came
there.
in third.
Even.
Technically, he was behind Queen.
Door, quarter, clear.
Or didn't attempt to start it, so came in third of the drivers.
Rolling back top,
listed.
clear.
Average finish of 8.5 after finishing 5th at South Boston.
Still out there, even.
Harley Davidson 200 took home 12th in the
door, quarter, clear.
2 months
4
ago.
buffer to the 87 for position. No reason here.
8.5 is definitely something that he will improve upon here with a third place run. And you're right, the math is going to be close if he continues to struggle through these last 33 laps.
How about Connor Hall there trying to make his presence known? He's well aware of the fact that he is most likely out of contention
out there.
for this one.
Halfway up.
Car way sideways.
Door, quarter, clear.
Defending winner Trevor Ward off the pace on the backstretch.
6 more at the line for your stage. 6 more.
After a masterful charge from 34th on the grid.
Clean track in front of the 51 here.
And Ward is now rolling to the attention of his crew under green.
Still 4-car buffer to the 87. No reason here. No reason. He's stuck in traffic. Lapper is too wide in front of him. Just take care of it.
We'll try to get confirmation as to exactly what brings the 77 down, but after fighting back
5 more in your stage
to
here.
the race, after a black flag to start the heat, he gets back into the race.
Lapper's still too wide in front here. No reason.
And it looks like the night is done for your defending ValleyStar Credit Union 300 and Virginia Triple Crown winner.
Check that, Ward rolled off in 27th spot, but nevertheless, a great drive up through the field. He cracked the top 10 and ran up
4
there
more on your stage.
time.
Still 2-car buffer here. No reason.
As we are about 5 laps away from what would be the next segment break as things start to tighten up for second spot. Cade Brown all over Mike Looney.
74 to his 09.
These two.
And again, just a couple of laps before this break, and for Cade Brown, so important here if he can try and get by Mike Looney. Again, it's that opportunity to choose.
87 still in traffic line now.
Chance to restart on the front row if you want it, or if he feels as though his car is really good on the bottom of the top side.
64 to his 53 in traffic.
If he so desires. So very important that he try to get this spot and pass Mike Looney. And right now, Cade Brown just looking very, very strong.
2.
As Looney having a little bit more trouble trying to lap some of these cars in the back of the field.
Car right out the window of that of Looney is that
53 to his 61.
Logan Park Racing number 15. Brown trying to work his way all over, in, and around. And as you mentioned, Blake, control of where you would want to line up on shoes is what's at stake. Should Kvapil maintain the lead for the next 2
line
laps,
now.
with Brown now getting pinned behind Gully, falling about a car.
No reason here by 20 plus. 59 to his 60.
Side, the problem for the Trevor Ward machine, courtesy of James Pike, an electrical issue for that number 77 car that has put him
Just stay in it until I call it here.
His pit stall and likely out of the ValleyStar Credit Union 300. As they come around this time, he's got about 1 more corner to make up a spot to get up into second.
85 to his 55.
Looks like he may not be able to do it with Kvapil.
Yellow.
Into turn number 3, rather. They're going to throw the caution flag regardless. So Mike Looney holds on to the second spot.
All right, coming back 1 and 2 here. Clean them up good.
I just love being able to see who is going to win this race. We're back under the yellow flag, and again, caution laps are counting at this point. They were at 177. They're now at 178. You can see them swerving back and forth, trying to keep some heat in those tires. As far as this break was concerned, Eric, with the fact that we haven't seen a ton of fall off, not really shocked that a lot of these drivers didn't want to give up their track position at this juncture in the race. They pretty much got what they have at this point. As you can see, Brandon Willard signaling these cars to choose. It'll be Kvapil that goes to the bottom. Yes, Looney to the top side. Cade Brown will go to the bottom. Jake Crum elects to go to the top side.
87 we're behind. 23 in your mirror, 12 up top.
One to the bottom, one to the top throughout.
Out back your lane, 23, Cade Brown, 6
Maybe
McCarty.
now's not the time to bring this up, but I'm going to do it anyway.
87
the
Scott,
qualifying races,
12
we
Crum,
would have only
77
had one attempt at an
Lampovich.
overtime
It'll be 20 to go when you get it 2-0.
play in all 4 of the races. Let's remind our viewers, as we'll be coming to this restart with 20 laps to go, should we have to rely on overtime, it will be unlimited attempts at a green flag finish for the biggest late model stock car race of this season. Just wanted to throw that out there now. Just in case.
Clean them up good here. No weaving when the pace car
Lights are
pulls
out
away.
atop the Toyota Camry pace car. Carson Kvapil, the control car. And again, ironic that we've seen the last 2 lead changes amongst these two happen for the car in the top lane. Yet Carson on the choose picked the bottom. We'll see what Looney can do in that outside groove. With Cade Brown and Jake Crum in row 2. 20 laps to settle the ValleyStar Credit Union 300 from Martinsville.
Oh, rolling half off you outside door. 1 off. Still out there. 1 lane up. Clear, clear, clear. East clear. Goodbye with half. Quarter 1.
In the middle of turns 1 and 2.
Still half, 3/4.
Second.
He's going to see if Looney can get the drive off the corner, but doesn't look to have it at the moment.
Still half on exit.
Door to door, as
Quarter 1.
these drivers have been pinching each other all night long. Cade Brown right now running in third, trying to get by Jake Crum, and wants to do it
by 1 and by 4.
These two side by side. The more those top 2 can break away. Lapsevich not able to make it 3 wide. Still door to door, dead even
by half
for
in
the
the center.
spot. Meanwhile, Looney
Quarter
see
1.
if he can find a weakness in the 8 car. Carson Kvapil to go on by. Does Lapsevich make the move now? Inside 20 to go. Still going to wait to do it.
The gloves may
Still by
not be
1.
completely off, but they're starting
Quarter 2.
to slide their way past the fingers of all these drivers trying to wheel their way up in the top 5 spots.
Where did Casey Kelly come from?
He was in the big
17
crash on the
line,
front stretch
1-7.
earlier in this race, now vying for a top 5 spot in what is a double wide knot for third on back while Kvapil breaks away.
Hit your marks here. 69.85 out back.
Traffic. He looks to have one of the fastest cars on the racetrack right now. He's able to clear down in front of Bobby McCarty. Jake Crum still trying to find a way to get down to the bottom where his car
By
has
3
been
and by
so
10,
strong
just shooting him.
all night long. Not able to do it. Is there? Oh, that was close off at turn 2 between Lapsevich and Jake Crum.
Casey Kelly
76 to his 88.
Inside as Lapsevich hugs the bottom of the racetrack.
Oh, we got trouble in turn 1. Aaron Donnelly.
Yellow, 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 yellow. Got debris in the 1 here.
The caution flag will be displayed, yes, as I believe the 71 went around for a full 360, but got rolling quickly.
Cool, everything off here.
Enough to trigger the caution flag with 15 to go.
After coming into this
Right,
evening,
choosing here.
5th in triple
Make it obvious, don't hit your
points,
box.
if things were to end right now, unofficially, it looks like maybe by 1 point, Brown could edge out Sellers for a Triple Crown title.
And you can be sure that Sellers is aware of that, even as he's
87
around
to
those
top,
cars.
23 in your mirror, 77 up top,
Sam
well behind.
Yarborough, so he may
See
be
11 to go when you get it,
for a
1-1.
win at this point, but knows he wants to win that Triple Crown.
One more shout out to my good friend Justin Mincy, who is actually updating the points right now in real time, again unofficially, but just to give us an idea of how the law of averages fall out. Justin, we appreciate everything you do for all the races in which you're a part of to try to give us some of the statistical information to back up the stories that we represent all of these drivers in their respective racing careers, as we are a half a lap away from the restart. What was initially going to be a 25-lap dash to finish restarted with 20 to go.
Number here,
Now
get a
we're
good
gonna hit the
shift.
reset button and come to the green with 11 laps to go. Carson Kvapil has made it well known how much he wants to win this race.
Right, come here,
Not
here.
sure what the future
Start
may
talking
hold
here.
for this driver beyond 2024 just yet. The rumors are good, but he knows he still has a job at hand. He's ahead of 2016 winner and Mike Looney. They make up the restart with 11 to go in the ValleyStar Credit Union 300.
Even, half off you.
Early launch for Kvapil, but Looney
Still out there, door, quarter.
as they go
Still
side
door,
by side,
quarter,
not
clear, clear,
able
clear.
To keep up with that 8
Go by 1 to 2 wide here.
drive through the center of the corner. Carson Kvapil
By 2 now.
clear by a car length, maybe more. What an incredible restart and driving into 1 and 2.
Oh, doubled up out back by 4.
He turned
Coming
on the
in, go to line
afterburners
1-0.
off turn 2. They're double wide behind him while he tries to set sail as Looney almost bounced off the side of Brown, and he holds second place.
Singled out by 5 to the 87.
Trying to move Cade Brown up the hill in the battle for third with Lapsevich to the outside.
Brown has to go low to protect that spot over Jake Crum. Here comes Bobby McCarty looking to make a move as well. As Crum in the back of Cade Brown.
Line out.
To go 3 wide, somewhat scattered on the front stretch. Crum not going to back out of it yet.
65 to his 85 by 7.
Brown trying to hang on to a top 5 spot.
We're definitely at that point in the race now with 8.5 laps to go that if you can protect the bottom, you'll fade left going into the corner to try to shut the door. Brown couldn't do it there. Here's Crum to 4th. They bounce off each other at the line. Kvapil clear out in front, side by side for 4th.
He'll hit yet again.
77 to his 82.
2 former track champions at Florence Motor Speedway, now a part of this 3-wide gaggle. It looks like Crum may have it off at 2, but he'll slide again.
Oh!
Crum gets loose. He's all the way up the track. Kelly going to try to bounce, and Cade Brown. Oh my goodness, how did he save that race car?
And we're not done yet. Still 3 wide in the corner.
77 to his 89.
Triple Crown slip away from him as he's still trapped
Reckon
outside.
in the 2 here.
Donnelly
Yellow.
to the wall. Caution is out. And I think it's important to note that we got some new faces up there.
Coming back 1 and 2, so clean them up good.
We kind of saw row number 2, row number 3 be similar for the last 2 or 3 restarts. Now we've got some new cars up in the mix. One of them is Trayton Lapsevich. We highlighted his story earlier on in our broadcast, choosing to take his talents south of the border as the Canada native who comes from a litany and family of drivers. Was one of the last entries, one of the last official entries for this race, for the official entry list that was published.
Line up back 87, 77, 16.
Now can see the leaders out of his windshield, and will have a pivotal choice to make on this choose, and we will see what that young driver is willing to do to try to win a grandfather clock alongside, potentially, at the very least behind, the Florence Motor Speedway track champion and Casey Kelly, who has rebounded from a missed shifter in the qualifying race to salvage a starting spot in this event. And has come back from the multi-car crash that
choosing this time here, make it obvious, don't hit your box.
on the midway portion of this race, just shy of halfway. That team has done a great job as they come to the choose now, and he is in contention for a win.
87 tick top, 77 in your mirrors, 16
but again, hats
top.
off to Trayton Lapsevich.
Just remember, if you guys are racing side by side, try to edge him at the line. That's what matters, taking the white flag in case we get a yellow. Race will be complete if we take the white.
Pro Speedway earlier this year. I was wondering how that adjustment would go with Trayton Lapsevich, who learned how to drive these stock cars on a completely different tire compound, the ST2, to what they're driving on right now, but yet it has not mattered. What is new with Trayton Lapsevich?
Nice, good shift here.
Up for the task. Kelly has a great shot at this as well, and Kvapil, if he has the same drive through turns 1 and 2, I don't know if there's anybody on the property that's going to be able to keep up with that 8 car.
All right, execute for 2 laps here.
Getting set for an attempt at an overtime finish for the ValleyStar Credit Union 300. Carson Kvapil looking for his first win in this race. Mike Looney his second. Trayton Lapsevich third. Casey Kelly fourth. Here they come. Green flag is in the air. We are underway to settle.
77 half off in line.
300.
Still out their door.
Drive down into
Quarter clear. East clear. Quarter 1.
Looney looks like he might be clear of second, but Kvapil driving away down into turns 3 and 4. He'll have a car length. Can
by 1.5.
any ground? Doesn't look
Quarter
like it's
3.
going to happen this time.
White flag coming back no matter what.
1 lap to go for Carson Kvapil.
Field is pretty much accordion back together for second on back, while Kvapil
No pressure by 4.
sailing off turn 2. A little bit of bumper tag behind the leader, but no problem. Carson Kvapil, 2-time Cars Tour champion, and in his third try,
not going to get to you. TikTok, we got a clock, baby. Good job, buddy.
Carson Kvapil wins
Here
the 300. Mike Looney comes home in second, Trayton Lapsevich third, Casey Kelly fourth, Bobby McCarty fifth. And while the discussions of what this young man's future may look like beyond 2024 continue, he knows he's going to bring some hardware back to Mooresville as the Junior Motorsports team is going to celebrate another win at Martinsville. And for the first time, it is with Carson Kvapil.